All right, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to do a reaction to a video from a channel called Hoop Venue. And this one's called The Truth About Dwyane Wade's 2006 Finals. Never heard of this channel before, but I browsed through it and it seems pretty legit. Reason I'm doing this is because in the comment sections of some other videos, I noticed a lot of people have no idea how good Dwyane Wade was before LeBron James came around and the whole system changed. But a lot of people have no idea just how good Dwyane Wade was when he was the leader of the Miami Heat. So I wanted to check this out with you guys. If you could do me a favor and like the video, it would really help this video perform. And if you want to see this video without my commentary, then I'm going to link the Hoop Venue video down below in the description. All right, here we go.
Dwyane Wade's 2006 Finals was one of the most polarizing performances in NBA history.
It's one of the greatest performances I've ever seen.
24-year-old player averaging 35 points to bring his team to the first championship in franchise history.
Yep.
Yet, depending on who you ask, they might suggest that there was something else going on. Former referee Tim Donaghy claims that the Mavericks were screwed out of a championship. And because Wade ended the series averaging more than 16 free throws a game, that's led to some speculation. So, was this a case of Miami just simply getting a lucky draw? Or was it actually one of the greatest individual performances we've ever seen?
See, I've gone back and actually watched these full games. And, no, man, they're fouling him. I mean, at least that's how it was in 06, the rules. They were fouling him. They couldn't stop him. But a lot of people are saying it's fixed and, you know, he got all these free throws. But I don't see why they would do that. You know, Miami was nothing. There's no reason to do that with Miami. I don't know. It never made sense to me. It's not like the Lakers. If this was the Lakers, I'd kind of get it because they're, you know, they're the biggest team in the NBA. So as far as money goes and all this stuff, I would totally understand. But with Dwyane Wade, some 30-year kid, I don't know.
To start the series, Miami was looking to run as much offense through Shaq in the post as possible. And because he's so physically overwhelming, even in his old age, Dallas was forced to double team him off the catch. And the thing about Shaq is that he was always willing to make the right decision. So when the double comes, he's hunting for either shooters or cutters to dime up. Because he knows that a second body's coming, he just patiently waits instead of forcing the issue, so that he can create an advantage for his team to attack. Yep. And the result is a wide open Jason Williams 3.
Yeah, that's smart basketball.
Here it is again, except this time it's a pass to Wade at the top of the key. Wade, however, isn't much of a three-point shooter at all. So instead of pulling the jumper, what he's going to do is look to slash, blowing right by Dirk in space for 2 at the cup.
Wow, I just got to imagine this. You give him that much space. Look at the space. Free throw line, three-point line. And he's going to still get past Dirk Nowitzki on his first step. How the hell? Dude, that's why he was called Flash back then. Dude was so quick.
Isn't much of a three-point shooter at all.
Watch this.
So instead of pulling the jumper, what he's going to do is look to slash.
Oh, it's not even a first step. That was like a 1, 2, 3 quick dude. He is Flash. I was going to say, it reminds me of the Flash.
Right by Dirk in space for 2 at the cup. Through these quick attacks, he's able to play off of Shaq and help tilt the defense without actually adding the three-point threat. When the ball gets to him, Terry knows he'll exploit that space, so he attempts to recover.
Look at him.
But it's too late because Wade's already stepping into an automatic elbow jumper. So you've got the slashing, the one dribble pull-up game, and he could also connect the offense by making sharp extra passes. Terry rotates over to take away that space and prevent an attack, which leaves Williams all alone on the weak side wing as he steps into a 3 that just rims out.
And that's the thing about Dwyane Wade. He could shoot the 3, but he didn't prefer it. Kind of like Jordan was. He preferred the mid-range game or to take it to the paint.
Because Wade's such a lethal attacker off the catch and on the move, a big staple in Miami's offense was starting him under the basket or on the baseline and using down screens to bring him to the ball. this time using his momentum to hunt out open space near the left elbow for a drifting midi.
By the way, someone was in my comments on my last Dwyane Wade video. I can't remember the name, sorry, but saying that Dwyane Wade never had a jumper. He did have a jumper. I would agree with you at the point where he didn't have much of a three-point shot. But as far as a mid-range jumper, hell yeah, he had one.
His ability to start and stop or quickly change directions made him so effective flying off screens like this.
He used the glass like no other,
pick and roll and exploding baseline, where help is just a touch late sliding over to meet him. And whenever Dallas threw extra defenders into these actions or lost cutters, he'd punish them with that passing. His momentum carries him into a drive that gets cut off, so he counter spins into a mid-range jumper. But while at the peak of his release, he recognizes that Dirk is watching the ball and not his man, instead sneaking a beautiful assist right by his ear for a layup. While Wade did generate a lot of offense in the set off-ball actions, or by playing off of Shaq in the post, of course he still initiated from the perimeter, and it's there where his athletic tools jump off the screen. I'd say only one or two players in NBA history come close to rivaling the explosiveness of his first step, and he'd weaponize that through constant size-ups and hesitations because he could drive right or left with the same speed. And once he took that first step, it was already over for the defense.
God damn.
He starts this one out.
Yeah, the only dude I remember that could literally blow by anybody at any point was young Michael Jordan. So like before 1992. Michael Jordan, and he would just blow by everybody just like this, just like Dwyane Wade did. But that doesn't last, so that's why Jordan ended up being more of a jump shooter second half of his career. But Dwyane Wade had it, man.
Out at half court, Miami clearing the floor so that he's one-on-one in space. He fakes the first step and actually loses his balance, his back knee and offhand both touching the court. So like any normal athlete, he just explodes from that awkward position and to his top speed, getting right by his defender and attempting to put a second one on the highlight.
Dude, he found himself in like a track stance, you know, like a track and field stance right there. Yeah, like you're about to take off for the 500-meter sprint or whatever. That's insane. So he's on his right leg. And he's going to push off his right leg.
Balance, his back knee and offhand both touching the court. So like any normal athlete, he just explodes from that awkward position and to his top speed, getting right by his defender and attempting to put a second one on the highlight reel.
Yeah, see, you're not seeing these fouls. I mean, I'm not, that's not supposed to be a statement. Like, it's supposed to be a question. Are you not seeing these fouls? The thing is they were just so frustrated because they could not stop him. So all they could do was foul. But problem is Dwyane Wade's a hell of a free throw shooter. So it's not like what's going on now with LeBron getting all these extra free throws. He can't finish the job because he sucks at free throws. Dwyane Wade hit those free throws, man. It's a big difference.
Not only was Wade faster,
but if you didn't foul him, that's just 2 points every time. So yeah, better odds fouling him.
And more agile than anyone on the court, he was also a bulky, strong 6'4". So if a defender is able to slide in front of that initial burst, he'll just drop the shoulder and create separation through contact. Notice how low to the floor he gets when taking off.
Yeah.
And because of his body positioning, it's his off shoulder that leads the way, going right through Devin Harris before finishing over the top of rim protection down low. To prevent him from touching the paint, it took one of two things, either bringing multiple defenders into almost a wall-like formation, or the point of attack guy sagging off and overplaying the drive.
It's so crowded in there.
That's when you'd see him pull back into the mid-range
there
game.
It is.
It's the exact same thing when working off of screens in the pick and roll. Josh Howard goes under so that he can take an angle that beats Wade to the paint, but in that he gives up room for him to step into a pull-up jumper. So what Dallas primarily did to defend these actions was have the point of attack guy chase him over with a big and drop. But what that did is again give him space to exploit as a slasher. He made a living in Game 1 just relentlessly hunting for Dirk in these actions, turning the corner and going right at the big man for 2 points at the cup.
Damn.
And because
Good
Dirk's
defense, too. Like, what are you going to do against that?
not very mobile laterally, he either had to commit to the ball or stay attached to his man, which consistently freed up the pick and pop. That last one was to Haslam for a free throw line jumper, but Antoine Walker could space all the way to the 3-point line.
Yeah, Haslam made a living off of that.
And that's just high quality offense. So going under opened him up to pull-up jumpers, playing in a drop opened up driving lanes or playmaking opportunities, and when the big came up a touch higher in a more aggressive coverage, he just split the difference before launching into a vicious poster. That speed made him lethal in the open floor, where he was always a threat to get out and beat the defense, but he could also be a bit more methodical when attacking in transition, using his handle and patiently reading the defense as he pulls multiple defenders into the paint before...
Yeah, look at that. That's gravity right there. That's gravity. Look at this. He's got 4/5 of the team. All eyes on him. Everyone is just gravitating towards him. And you got all these guys wide open.
Making a pretty high-level pass to James Posey.
There it is. Just got to pick one.
This time it's after a defensive rebound where he looks to initiate the break.
Look at him. He just out-rebounded two bigs.
And after 2 dribbles, he recognizes that Jason Williams is going to beat Dallas down the floor. So he quickly kicks it ahead, hitting him in stride on his way to 2 free points.
Beautiful.
There were so many things to like in Wade's performance over the first 2 games, but also some question marks that loomed over not just his individual play, but Miami's offensive execution as a whole.
Oh, Haslam. You got to break that, dude. I'm gonna stop pausing so much, but I just had one more thing to say. The reason that Dwyane Wade was so unstoppable, and he was one of my favorites. There's a lot of reasons. One mainly being just his drive. You know, he would play the hardest on the court, and he would lead by example. You know, and his troops would follow him into war. Everybody on this team from 06 will tell you the same thing. They saw how hard he was trying, so they elevated their game. Lead by example. But as far as just basketball talk goes, okay. The guy could blow by any defender. So he's got that. He's got a jump shot, awesome mid-range. He's got that. He can catch the ball on the perimeter and still get a good shot or blow by you and get straight to the basket. So he's got that. And also, most importantly, he knew how to read the double team and the triple team. So he was a smart basketball player, and it's being shown here in this video. He would hit the open man at any point without hesitation, and it was like methodical for him. So, I don't know. That whole, I make the best play, the right play every time. I kind of saw that in Dwyane Wade, and Miami was better off under his leadership.
For one, in Game 2, Wade was extremely unaggressive, just not looking to get to his own shot at all, and moving it around like he was a role player. And at times, it almost felt like he was an afterthought, idling away from the ball as the Heat struggled to create anything of substance.
Yep.
I think some of that has to do with external factors, like how Wade was struggling with the flu for over a week at that point, but it also had to do with some of what Dallas was doing defensively. They threw out a zone to shut off the paint, and in that zone, they were aggressively fronting Shaq to prevent him from touching the ball. Because that's the basis of what Miami wanted to do on offense, it looked like they had no clue what to do for most of the game. It got out of hand pretty fast. The Mavs ended the first half on an 11-0 run, it turned into a blowout, Wade got into foul trouble, Pat Riley picked up a tech, just an overall frustrating performance. In games 1 and 2 of the series, Wade averaged 25.5 points, 7 rebounds, and 4.5 assists.
That's funny. That would be decent for anybody. But it was after game 2 where he basically just put the team on his back.
Which, at face value, seems like some pretty great numbers. Yeah. But when you take a look deeper, you'll find that he also recorded 4.5 turnovers, shot below 47% true shooting, and Miami had just an abysmal 93.1 offensive rating. Dallas jumped out to a 2-0 series lead behind Wade, and the rest of the squad struggles. But now it was time to head back to their home floor, and this is when things took a turn for the
What's this? Guards with 40-plus points and 10-plus rebounds, single game NBA Finals history. Yeah. That's some good company. Magic. 1980. Damn, buddy. Jerry West, not surprised. MJ, of course. He did this multiple times. This son of a bitch averaged 41 against my Suns in the finals.
Better. A big part of Miami's success in Game 3 came as a result of Wade's ability to play off the ball and seamlessly fit with Shaq. When that double comes, he's hanging under the basket, and although he's a guard, because of his vertical pop off of 2 feet, he can serve as a play finisher like this. Here's another example. Jason Williams draws 2 defenders on closeouts with Wade operating on the baseline, and off the catch he takes a power dribble to get in close for a reverse dunk. Almost like what you see from Aaron Gordon playing off of Jokic in Denver's offense. Whenever Dallas tilted their defense towards Shaq, we again saw Wade punishing them with quick decisions off the catch. Notice how he actually starts moving into his attack before ever touching the ball, which gives him a little more momentum as he drives right by Dirk for 2. On this one, it's one of those baseline actions, bringing him towards the middle of the floor, and Dirk is forced to rotate to close off the paint, which leaves Haslam for a brief moment under the basket, resulting in a layup. I also think Wade had some really nice moments in transition, turning on the Jets after a defensive rebound, directing traffic to clear out space, and charging right down the heart of the defense to take it coast to coast. When he initiated in the half court, it was a lot of pick and roll, but what I think stands out is that instead of turning the corner and looking to beat the defense with sheer speed, he was a bit more patient coming off the screen and reading different situations, hesitating as if looking to change directions, which freezes his defender and gives him a lane all the way to the cup.
He's just so quick.
This time Dallas is going to look to switch the action, but Jerry Stackhouse doesn't come up high enough to prevent Wade from taking that first step, and he exploits the space with a beautiful counterspin down the middle of the paint for 2 points plus the foul. And just like we saw in games 1 and 2, if opposing defenders started to overplay the drive or wall off the paint, he had no problem just stepping into mid-range jumpers. Even with Wade looking a lot better, the Heat still found themselves down 13 points with just 6 minutes to go. Remember,
this is that
they're
moment.
down 2-0. So if they were to lose this game, it'd take an absolute miracle to even make the series competitive. And in the face of disaster, that's when we saw who Dwyane Wade truly was.
Yeah. According to Shaq and Gary Payton and others, the testimonials says it was right then that Dwyane Wade started yelling at the team. Not yelling at him, but basically saying, I'm not going out like this. I'm not going out like this. Just like yelling it over and over again. Like, I ain't going out like this. And he didn't.
Completely taking over the game in a manner that very few can say they've done in a wide variety of ways.
This is Jordan-esque.
It started with some pick and roll, using an up fake to lose his man before driving around the screen, and when Dirk shuts off the middle, he counters by sidestepping back towards the baseline for a soft touch jumper off the glass.
By the way, most people don't talk about it. He used the glass better than any guard I've ever seen. Best guard at using the glass. He was that, like Tim Duncan is the best forward using the glass. D Wade, hands down, for guards.
Next time down, it was an isolation from the corner, jabbing right before exploding baseline, and because Eric Dampier doesn't want to leave Shaq alone under the basket, there's nobody in position to meet him. About a minute later, it was another pick and roll, and when Devin Harris goes under the screen to protect the paint, he uses that space to step into one of his patented elbow jumpers. This one started with him away from the ball, running off a couple screens as he curls, and he's able to use his defender's momentum against him by quickly changing directions and driving left.
He's got you guys.
Dampier's there, but it doesn't really make much of a difference. Here goes another off-ball screening action that brings him to the ball. this time to set up an open side pick and roll with Shaq. Off the screen, Dampier's in a...
I mean, look at this. He's just chipping away at it. This was an amazing game. I remember seeing this live, and I rewatched it recently. It was amazing. It's like a superhero type of thing.
Deep drop, so Wade just sets his feet and fires a real easy mid-range jumper. In Game 3, Dwyane Wade marked 42 points, 15 of which came in the fourth, as Miami just squeezed out.
So after watching LeBron put up 0 in the fourth in 2011, you see the difference? D Wade was that guy. For real. He was that guy.
2-point win on their home floor. This was a must-win game, and not only did they do that, but the manner in which it happened and the comeback really shifted the momentum in their favor. They went on to absolutely dominate Dallas in Game 4, leading by 10 at the half and 24 after 4 quarters of play, as Wade poured in another marquee performance with his 36 points on 67% true.
Yeah, there's an emotional aspect to it too, because what Dwyane Wade did there was just he just sucked the will to live out of the Mavericks. They no longer believed. They're like, no matter how good they play, they can't stop this one dude.
Through shooting. In Game 5,
nice
Wade
class.
came out a little cold, shooting just 3 of 13 in the first half, and by the time crunch time rolled around, we were again looking at a nail-biter. With just over 2 minutes left, down 4, it was like he flipped a switch.
Oopsie.
They spaced the floor so that he can isolate, using his speed to blow right by Harris, and countering help down low by floating it up over the top. You can see that every time he looked to go to work one-on-one, Dallas made an effort to pack the paint, which is why having a mid-range game is so imperative here. When he gets to the elbow, he throws a little half spin to create some separation for a
got a little Jordan
jumper.
fadeaway.
And it was the exact same thing when coming off of screens.
I'll give you that though. His Jordan fadeaway, not the greatest.
Both Dirk and Dampier aggressively play the nail to take away a drive down the middle, and Wade has no problem just stepping into tough jumpers from the free throw line.
Yeah, see, he's not hiding. He's he's on top of the mountain, man. He's not hiding. I wish LeBron never went there, man. D Wade was a monster. I hope you guys are seeing it. I hope you guys are witnessing it. D Wade was the Kobe. He was the Jordan. He was the Bird. Like, he was that dude.
On the last play of regulation, they made the mistake of not loading up or bringing an extra body, and with just one defender standing in his way, he uses that shoulder bump to create a finishing angle before showcasing some remarkable body control as he ties the game at 93.
Once again, good use of the glass.
To start overtime, the Heat run a little decoy action on the weak side so that Wade can come off a screen into open space going left, and it's just effortless as he sticks a pull-up J off the window.
Again.
Now with 8 seconds left, down 1, the Mavericks finally made it a point of emphasis to get the ball out of his hands at all costs, making someone else beat them. Except Wade had other plans, keeping his dribble alive as he seemingly drives every way possible.
Have you ever seen this before? The guy from like half court, he's like posting up against 3 dudes.
Point of emphasis to get the ball out of his hands at all costs, making someone else beat them.
He's just gonna leave.
Except Wade had other plans, keeping his dribble alive as he seemingly drives every way possible, knifing through traffic and into the heart of the defense, where he earns himself a pair of free throws. These were just 2 of his 25 free throws in Game 5, which I know sounds completely outlandish and raises a ton of questions, but in going through each possession, I started to pick up on a few things that were leading to these kinds of numbers. For one, by nature of his style of play, he's pretty much always going to generate free throws.
Man, they keep fouling
I'm talking about his constant aggression attacking the basket, the lethal first step that pretty much gives him unlimited access to the paint, and how he'll use his shoulders to initiate or force contact. Another thing is that if he feels contact, he'll shoot into it with the intent of getting free throws, When he drops the shoulder and leaves his feet, this ref calls a blocking foul while the ball is still in his hands.
Because the defender didn't take the charge. So you got two choices, but the thing is he's so quick you can't get into position.
The thing is that if he feels contact, he'll shoot into it with the intent of getting free throws.
All right, so he'd have to jump up right here, like take a big old hop, plant himself, and then take the hit in order to get the charge. But he can't. So he's going side by side with him, and he's going to make that contact. That's a blocking foul. It is what it is. You either got to get in front of him or you got to step aside.
When he drops the shoulder and leaves his feet, this ref calls a blocking foul while the ball is still in his hands. It's pretty obvious that he's looking to kick the ball out to the wing initially, but after hearing the whistle, he adjusts in midair, instead turning it into a shot.
Smart.
And just like that, you've got two free throws.
That was smart.
Historically, there have been two primary ways of getting a lot of free throws. On one hand, you have the Michael Jordan, David Robinson, Shaquille O'Neals of the world who have unique physical traits and use that to pressure the defense.
This is why David Robinson retired, man. He's like, I don't want to put up with this shit anymore. God damn. David Robinson used to be the strongest guy in the NBA, and then Shaq comes around. It's disgusting.
Forcing fouls. On the other hand, you have those who are amazing at taking advantage of the rules.
Oh, dude, I hate this shit. This is why I'm still not a Harden fan because of this stuff.
Into making mistakes, man. And almost playing a game within the game with the refs.
Look at that.
Names like James Harden, Trae Young, and Damian Lillard stand out in the current NBA.
Oh, give me a break, dude.
Now, every once in a while, we get a rare breed of player who masters both. And that's exactly what Dwyane Wade was. He'd up fake and jump into defenders at any given chance. He'd lead with his body and hear the whistle before throwing up a circus shot. I mean, this guy had every single trick in the book. You pair that with how close some of these games were and the amount of late game clock fouling that went on, I came away with the feeling that his foul drawing, as annoying as it may be for the opposing team, were pretty much all respectable calls.
Yeah, I came to the same conclusion. I watched it non-biasedly, and I was watching full games from this series on YouTube, and I would just pause it and replay it, and I'd be like, no, that's a foul. That's a foul. You know? He was just smarter. He was faster, and he was smarter than everybody, and he was also deadly, so they had no choice but to double and triple team him. And of course one of those two or three defenders is going to screw up against prime Dwyane Wade, because you can't. So you had two choices. One, play off him and let him go. Two, try and play on him, double team him, and more than likely you're going to foul him. Pick your poison.
If you don't want a guy to get to the line, simply don't foul him. Another thing that I think stood out about this series from Wade was how he gradually used the mid-range more and more as it progressed. The Mavs were already so worried about his slashing and foul drawing that he pretty much had a quality long two whenever he wanted. Now remember, this is a different era, and while long twos were never a great shot, when someone like Wade got it going from there, it was just impossible to guard. Especially when that player has so much versatility in how he gets into them and the vast amount of counters he has for creating space. In games 1 and 2, Wade took just 5 long twos a game and hit 40% of them, but in the next 4, he more than doubled the volume to about 11 a game, knocking down over 58%.
Sick. All right, well, that one goes out to, shit, I really wish I could remember your name. Whoever was in my comments on my previous Dwyane Wade video about Dwyane Wade not having a jumper. I'm not trying to go at you, bro. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. But at the same time, I did want you to see this. This video is in response to a lot of the things I saw in those comments. So I wanted you guys to see this because you probably haven't been able to see this yet. Because most of the stuff they show on Dwyane Wade in the media is him with LeBron and in the Big Three. They don't show who he was before that. So, yeah, Dwyane Wade did have a jumper. Great mid-range shooter, and he was great off the glass.
some of that is shooting variance, it's also just catching a rhythm and trusting the shot. With that said though, it's not like he was settling, but rather patiently taking what the defense gave him and making all the right reads.
Yeah, because if he didn't have that jumper, then everyone would just play off of him, like Ben Simmons, you know, just play off of him and dare him to shoot. So he would knock him down. He was shooting, what, high 50s in those mid-range jumpers. So you got to play up on him, and then if you play up on him, he's going to blow past you. That's prime Dwyane Wade.
When hesitating, he recognizes that he can get a better shot with Dirk defending, and instead of pulling the jumper, he keeps that dribble live and works his way into a quality
off the
floater.
glass.
And it was the exact same thing when they forced him to be a playmaker for others. Instead of looking to move the ball as quickly as possible, he uses his handle to create a better angle, and the result is 2 easy
Great
points.
pass.
Here's another one, rejecting the pick and roll with that explosive first step, collapsing the paint, and leaving his feet as if looking to finish vertically, only to drop it off to Shaq for some automatic offense at the rim. When comparing his performance from the first 2 to the last 4, it's almost like looking at a completely different player. His basic box score jumped to 39, 8, and 3.5, his turnovers dropped, and his efficiency was in entirely different territory.
Hold on.
Of course, this had a direct...
I was waiting for the last one to pop up. That's insane. So, back against the wall, he bumps up 14 points a game, grabs an extra rebound, his assists go down. I mean, yeah, I understand that. So even though he's so much more ball dominant, he's getting 1 less turnover. 61% true shooting. His percentage goes up. Man, like that's Dwyane Wade. That's D Wade. Back against the wall, he rises. He rises to the occasion.
Impact on Miami's team offense, scoring about 105 points every 100 possessions. A drastic change. There are a ton of different things you can point to for this change, starting with the fact that he just simply recovered from the flu.
Right.
But also I think there was a noticeable difference in how he used pace.
Yeah, it wasn't just the flu. It was attitude. Because he was expecting all these veterans to kind of help out a little more than they were. But the veterans were kind of looking at young buck Dwyane Wade like, all right, you gotta get us there, man. You know? Because other than Shaq, this was a bunch of players who never won a title. Alonzo, Gary Payton, White Chocolate, Haslam, Posey, like good players. They're filled with good players. Antoine Walker, but like none of these guys ever won a championship. So they're looking at young buck like, time for you to take over. And once he decided, fuck this, I'm not going out like that, and he took over. Yeah. It was a whole different story.
Patiently read the defense, and in spots where he was forcing offense, instead just took what they gave him, whether it was a long 2, a floater over the top, a pass to an open teammate, adapting to the defense and improving his decision making.
I think that was Posey.
That's one of the staples in what makes great players so great. And at just age 24, Wade was exactly that. Taking the Heat to the promised land in one of the most impressive individual finals performances the game has ever seen. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to drop a like, subscribe,
Dude, I really did. I'm subscribing to this channel. This was a really good video. I'm glad I watched this. I'm glad for the comments down below in the previous D-Wade video, because that triggered this, and this was a lot of fun to do. Go down memory lane. All right, everybody. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Did you have any idea? Have you seen this stuff? Like, did you know how good Dwyane Wade was? And yeah, share some stories about D Wade. Share some stories about this this controversial NBA Finals. Do you think the fouling was BS? Do you think it was rigged? A lot of people do. I personally don't, but we can talk about it in the comments. And yeah, if you haven't shot this video a like, I'd really appreciate it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.